to the video. Today I wanted to discuss this. This is not a BRS 8A, as far as I can see. I think it is a rip-off version. But what does that really mean when we're talking about Chinese stuff anyway? It works well, so no complaints, but it is not like an official BRS. I bought this because I had a Coleman 442 stove, and the generator kept getting clogged, and for the life of me I just could not unclog it. It was a pain in the bum. So I bought this because on this you can take the jet out and clean it, and so obviously you can clean the generator on a Coleman stove, but no way near as easy. So I thought, you know what, try this, give it a go, because it was only 40 quid, £40, and so I thought, why not give it a go. So it comes like this, obviously fold it up, just fold it like that, and then wrap that in there. It unfolds like that, and then what comes with it, this bottle, and oh, I bought this little windshield as well. It's quite cool. This came with it, so I'm sure you know how that works, so don't worry about that. Just wraps around, comes with this nice little bag, and that's where I keep the spare bits. So what came with the spares, you get 2 jets, sorry, 3 in total. 1 comes already in, and the other 2 jets come, and I think they're 30, oh wow, I think it's 30, 32 or 33, and then 35. Pretty sure that's what it is. Their sizes, by the way, if you Google them, you'll know. And I think they're M6 thread size. But anyway, you can't really see on the bloody camera, but one's big, one's medium, and one's small. And the small one is for petrol, and probably like paraffin or something. And the medium size is for kerosene and diesel. And then the big size is just for gas. So they come with it. It's pretty cool. And you've got spare plunger. That's for the pump, which you'll see in a minute. And a couple of like rubber grommets. Well, that's probably not the right word. Someone chuck it in the comments, please. So it comes with them, and they are for this bad boy, which is your pump, and you put that in there, pump away, and then you run your stove. So you thread that in there. And you do have to be careful if you've got this. I'll show you once I've started it up, I guess, but when you put that in there and then use it and then unthread it, it sometimes pees out whatever fuel you've got, which is quite annoying. But them spare grommety things would be for, I believe they're for this. That's your plunger, and so when that gets rotten and wears away, especially from using, like, you know, auto fuel like white gas or petrol, and it's quite corrosive to it, so it does eventually wear out. I've took all this apart before. That all seems pretty straightforward. If you need to replace the rubber bits in there, they're on this side, and they seem pretty easy to replace, so should last you a while. as for gas running, so if you remember I said the different jets, so you've got one for petrol, one for kerosene and diesel, and then the other for gas. The smaller jet, which is for petrol, if you want to use gas, it doesn't really work that well. So you better stick with your medium, which is kind of like an all-rounder. I've used it with kerosene. I haven't used diesel yet, but kerosene and diesel are quite similar. So I've used kerosene, and it seems to work fine on the middle, but I can also use the gas. But the ring ain't as wide. It's not as wide. But if I use the big jet, you get quite a wide, you know, it's wider. So for an all-rounder, let's say you're going camping somewhere and you just want one that's going to work for near enough everything, just use the middle jet. Or so far, that's what I've found so far. What else comes in spare? Oh yeah, quite important this. This is actually really good for, you know, a Chinese sort of gadget. Sometimes they're a bit, they look good and then they don't deliver, but this so far it's delivered. It's quite cool. So it's got a very, I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up, but it's got a very tiny bit of wire on the end for when the jet gets clogged. And so when does the jet get clogged? If I'm using kerosene, which I am now, in here is a mixture of 50-50 kerosene and petrol. And after each use, I do need to clean it. The thing is with this, I'm not using a clean kerosene like what you buy from a shop, like bottled. I'm using heating oil, which is kerosene, but it's quite dirty. So I'm using a very unclean, so I'm actually putting it through quite a strenuous test really. And it's holding up, it's alright, as long as I've got this tool, with that little bit of wire, I can get in there and just take this bit off, this like deflector, and then poke the little bit of wire in the jet, and it pokes it out, and then it's all good. I will do that now actually, because I cooked the missus actually cooked some noodles just a minute ago. So you just sort of pry this off, pop that up, and pop this bit up, and it comes off like that. Then if your eyes are really good, you can just sort of see in there and then give the jet, I can't show you, I'm sorry about that, but you just poke that. So this tool actually comes with, so I'll take it off for you so you can see. Get that, and then just poke that in the little hole. Job done. So now obviously we poke it back in. But yeah, like I say, this tool, I've used it. So I've got like obviously my own tools, but with this I just don't need it. This actually works pretty good. I took apart this as well. This bit, this orange gold bit, I took all these apart with that. So if you ever get anything stuck in there and you've only got this little tool on, not saying it's ideal, obviously if you had your tool belt or your toolbox from home it would be much better, but for if you're in the field and let's say you're trying to camp very lightweight, then you've got that on you, so it's all good. So let's unscrew this and I'll just show you how like I said, this is the middle jet, so let me show you how that runs on just gas. This is very important. It won't work without it. and you can get spares of them, by the way. These I guess it's like a shield, like a deflector. I don't really know what you'd call it. Sorry, just had a little sip of drink. Right, screw this back on. This bit is quite, I wish there was like an easier way, maybe a screw top bit or something, but it is what it is, not gone the wrong way. Right. So, oh, I will quickly say, if you get your jet clogged, using gas, whilst poking in the hole, obviously be bloody careful, don't do it anywhere stupid, but it works quite well to unclog it. That's just straight gas. That's on low, and on high, something got jammed in there for sure, unless I'm wrong. Oh no, it's right. But that's what it does sometimes if the jet gets clogged. It will make a puff. But that's medium. That's your medium jet right there. And like I said, that's good for, it's just an all-rounder really. It's pretty damn good. I'd say it's my favourite jet so far, unless I'm just using, excuse me, straight gas. Then I'll just use the big jet, because the differences are, with the medium jet you get less heat range, so it's very, this is trash, this bit, for if you want to go low and slow with something. It's just trash. It's not very good at all for like a range from low to high. But the jets make a huge difference with gas particularly. So if I'm using gas and I've got the big jet in, the big hole, it's such a wide range. It's pretty damn good. So let's go for this. So like I said, this is mixture of petrol and heat. It's heating oil really. It is kerosene, but it's dirty, very dirty, as we'll see. I'm gonna have to crack the window. Oh yeah, and don't do this in the house unless you're ventilating. But I'm gonna show you something, because this is why I've made this video actually, because so many people have been terrified of these, and it's how you start it. So when you start this thing and you're using a fuel like kerosene, petrol, diesel, whatever, you need to heat this part here first, this generator. And so people are quite scared of it, and so I've seen a few people and they've just added too much fuel, and so it's not worked properly. And on that note, that's hot. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop the video, because I'm going to let this cool down so that it's fair. Obviously I've burnt the gas, so this is now hot, so now I've preheated it. So what I'm going to do, to be fair, I'm going to let the video stop, let this cool down, and I'll bring you back, because we're going to plug this in and do this from cold or room temperature. There's not a lot I can do about that. I'll let that cool down and I'll bring you back. Right, so we're back, and this is cooled down. As you can see, I'm touching it. And so from here, we just want to give this, see the instructions will say give it about 30 pumps. I think it all depends on how much fuel you've got in here. So if you've got it up to the recommended bit, just follow the instructions. But I'd pump it about 15 times. And the reason it's very important to follow this bit, what I'm going to tell you here, is because I've seen so many people on YouTube using these, and the instructions say to leave the valve on, this little valve here opening up and letting out the fuel. It says to leave it on for about 5 seconds, which is just too much fuel. So what I do is I'll just give it a little squirt, just a little bit, and then let it heat from there. So the reason is because if you're in your tent, it absolutely flares up, and that's what I've seen people doing on YouTube. It flares up and it's just crazy. But there's no need for it. You just need a little bit of fuel, and all you're trying to do is heat up this generator so that the fuel goes through and then atomizes, and then it turns into a gas. You're turning your fuel into a gas. So I'll bring you down here. So we want to pump this, sorry, I haven't even pumped this yet. I want to pump this about 15 times. And you just want a tiny squirt, a little squirt of fuel. I don't know how well you can see that. Hopefully you can see it well. I hope if I'm turning it the right way. There we go. That'll do. Don't know if you saw that, but just a drop. The reason I'm saying that is because just a drop of fuel, and then it's not out of control, because you just control it from there. And as that gets hot, more fuel comes through, and it does flare up on its own without you touching it. It'll go because it then atomizes. So that's it. I'm gonna crack my window quick. I'm going to turn the extractor on a bit more. Don't do this in a not ventilated place as well. You need to be outdoors really with this. But I trust that my place where I am is ventilated enough. Just let it go, you see. Now when you see people do this on other videos, there you go, that's what happens. But you see the way I've done it, it's alright. Now you can start just giving it a little bit of wear. Probably can't hear me very well now. But so with that's not so scary, is it? I mean, you still wouldn't really want to do it in your tent, but if it's pissing down with rain, you're going to be doomed, really, aren't you, to start this. And so that wasn't on full whack either. That's because I only pumped this 15 times. That's not full whack. I'll show you full whack. And so this brings me on to the next thing. I like to cook low and slow, and so a lot of people say it's near enough impossible with this. But I have found a way. So with this thing, you want to let the flame go out. You don't want to blow this out. You just want to let it go, and it gets rid of the rest of the fuel in there. And that's very important for our next bit, because I unscrew this, let the gas out, and then give it 3 pumps. Then relight it. And with less pressure in here, you have more control over this bit, because if there's loads of pressure in this little tank, it's just, when you turn this little nozzle, it absolutely just pisses out. And so by having less pressure in here, we have more control over the lows, you know. It's not ideal, but it's just a way around it that works. So I will blow that out now. Turn that down so you can hear me a bit more. We just want to let some of that out. Now I'm going to have to turn it back on actually. Right, so I'm going to step away so the gas goes up. Alright. So I stood away for about 10-15 seconds and just opened the window again, like wider, and let all the gas get out of it. So now what I want to do is just give this 3 pumps, give it some more gas again, so that's on full whack, so we just got to let it heat up a little bit again. This is only doing this because it's on kerosene. If I was running petrol, you wouldn't get these flare-ups. That's just what kerosene does. So now we want to just turn it down a little bit. Now, although it's not perfect, you've really got to like gently touch this. This is useless at adjusting fuel level. But yeah, you can, it's not perfect at all, but you can get this low enough where it's sort of comfortable. Sorry about the noise, but I need ventilation, man. This is some dirty fuel. So it's doable, you know. You can get this to run at least decently if you're trying to do something like, you know, that you don't want it to flare up with. But you do just need to keep playing with that nozzle. So it's not the end of the world, but there we go. Turn it back up again. So it has a little bit of play, but you just need to empty that bad boy down. Oh, and this is one way that I see someone else, can't give them credit because I can't remember their name, but I see someone else turn their gas off like this. You turn it upside down and just let it sort of burn out, and it gets rid of the gas in the pipes, you know. while, but there we go. So now you'll hear it just going. Just come back a little while later, let this cool down, and now I'm able to close all the back door and the windows and that, just to make sure the place was aired out whilst I was doing this. Here comes a little the tricky part, which I was talking about, having to unscrew this. If you're going to do this like I've done, like I say, I don't want to beat on, like, keep rambling, but just make sure all your bloody doors and windows are open. Because I certainly wouldn't do it with it all closed. See that drip out? This is the really crap part about this. So what I do now, try and drain that out a little bit, get all this up, clean it all out, chuck it straight out, straight down the toilet. It's the only thing that I really don't like about this, is that part. Doesn't really seem to matter what you do, it just does it. Just leaks when you're taking that off. So the other thing I like to do now is, now that when I've used this to clean this pipe out, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? Got some gas for it. And you want to go gentle. Oh yeah, and these legs, they was great when they first came, but as you use them, they loosen up a little bit. I'm sure I could sort of bend the metal to bring it back to where it was, but they do go. I've only had it a week and a half, and don't get it wrong, they're not breaking. They just don't lock as good anymore, and so you have to play with them a little bit. So yeah, just run a little bit of gas through to push the kerosene. Just run that for like what, 10 seconds? Run it for longer if you want, but I don't know. I just like to do that to make sure all the, because it's, like I said, very dirty fuel. So yeah, that's it, I guess. Complaints or whatnot, I ain't really got any complaints yet. Like I said, I've only had it for a week and a half, but I've been just playing with it. Boils water very quickly. I boiled half a litre in a minute and a half, and I was using petrol. That's pretty quick. I'm not really using this for the heat. I just want a stove that can do more than one thing. I see one guy made a video, and he was saying he was imagining himself in The Walking Dead, and I thought that was quite funny because it reminded me a bit of myself. I like to imagine taking one thing and not having to worry about if I can find fuel where I am, because I used to use these are camp gas. I've got these here, as you've probably seen through the video, but these are quite expensive for what they are. They're about £5 in the UK for 240 grams. With this, I've had to move it over to the Coleman, and this is £6 for 440 grams. I believe that equates to something like 700 mils if you measure in mils. So that was quite, I quite like these now. I think camp gas I'm gonna do away with, to be honest, and start using these fittings, this fitting here. So yeah, the point of me getting this was that I like the idea of using multiple fuels, going somewhere and not having to worry, and just, you know, if it's changing over a couple of jets. I mean, these don't weigh anything, so to take these with you and this little tool, and then say the only thing you could get was diesel, or the only thing that you could get was kerosene, or the only thing you could get was petrol, or the only thing you could do is ask whoever it was to fill this up. I like that idea. That to me is just perfect. You take one stove and it does it all. So yeah, that's why I got this. But the only complaints I've got with it so far, not really complaints. It's just for people that want simplicity. Just bloody stick with gas. Just stick with gas and you sweet. But I think if you're watching this video, that's not what you're looking for. So the only thing you have to get to know is how to clean your jets and do the little bits of maintenance you'll have to do. But if you're burning petrol and you don't want to burn the dirty stuff like I am, you're pretty much solid. You should only have to clean it every now and again, as long as you're using the, you know, clean petrol. One thing I can say, that you're not supposed to use premium petrols in these stoves. They apparently damage the parts. It's the additives they've got in them. So just use the most basic, unleaded, obviously, fuel you can find. Or just stick with gas. But it's up to you. Kerosene seems to work fine. I've not used diesel yet. I see what that same guy I said about The Walking Dead. I'll have to tag him in this video. He tried vegetable oil. I don't know why, it really made me laugh, but he tried that and he said it didn't work. I can't imagine why, but yeah, he used that. I'm probably going to stick with petrol. Kerosene really stinks and it's dirty, and diesel I imagine is the same, but I'll probably stick with petrol or use gas. But anyway, thanks for watching the video. If there's anything you want to know about this, or anything you want me to try, or whatever, just drop a message. I'll be happy to do it, and hope this helped whoever. And thanks for watching. Yeah, cheers. Bye.